Hey now, I feel like I'm so far away.
Hi, what's up? How you doing?
I'm well.
Dr. L.
Well,
Teddy, how are you today?
we are doing well.
Hey, Vovo, what's up, Cookie?
We are doing well. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week, my love.
Happy Teacher Appreciation Week to you as well, sir. Um, yeah, we just thought we would come on today. We're going to take a break from the norm. We're just going to come on today and just sort of talk about, this week and what this week is all about and some teacher memories and conversations. We're gonna keep it real, light and fluffy, light and fluffy today. We're gonna try to get to y'all later on in the week with a little more, heavy hit and stuff, but we're gonna keep
Did
it
you
light.
see the article I sent you earlier?
I did. I'd actually seen that earlier today, and I was like, oh Lord, because I'm the teacher sponsor for the LGBTQ club in my school, and I was like, ooh, because that sounds like something I might have done. So I'm like, ooh,
Mhm.
ooh. So the story he's talking about, I guess we could go ahead and touch on it. Why not? There was a teacher who was the sponsor of the LGBTQ club, Q plus club, at their particular school, and they had a drag show after school, and the parents weren't happy about it.
We're not happy. Appalled, calling for the teacher to be fired,
Yeah, all kinds of
reprimanded, and all kinds of other foolishness. Like it's a whole situation, and I feel so bad for them. I mean,
Pennsylvania, I'm gonna just read the headline. Pennsylvania high school is forced to apologize after students in an LGBTQ club staged a drag show on school property. Veteran French teacher is placed on leave for helping to organize the event. So here's my first question. Was this an event that took place? I know it took place on school property, but this an event that they sponsored as a club, like after school, as like a fundraiser or something?
because if it is, it has to go through approval
Right.
processes.
Just right. So somebody approved it. Let's just go on and just do this. I guess we'll do this article. Officials at a high school in Pennsylvania were forced to apologize and place a veteran French teacher on leave after the school's LGBT club staged a drag show event on school grounds. According to a statement from the Hempfield School District, the unsanctioned event took place after school on April 25th. The statement said the district was treating the event as a serious situation. First and foremost, the administrative team apologizes to students, parents, and the community on behalf of those involved in this event. We are appalled at what took place and in no way condone this type of activity. Appalled? In our schools. Neither the dress of the invited guests nor the performance was appropriate in our school setting. School is located in Sauguna, Lansville, around 80 miles west of Philadelphia. For the event, the school hosted dancers dressed in drag performing raunchy routines. The apology statement was issued after the video of the performance made it onto social media.
I
Oh.
watched the video.
As a result of the show, a member of the school's staff was placed on the admin leave. The teacher, I'm not going to say the teacher's name, um, also serves as the club's advisor. The district is also conducting an official investigation into the event. According to and the statement reads, this is from the school, according to the club and extracurricular activities list, on the website, the Gay Sexual Alliance Club is advised by, again, I'm not going to say their names, a graduate of the Millersville University of Pennsylvania, has taught in the school district since 2013. The club is described as bringing together LGBTQIA and straight students to support each other, provide a safe space to socialize and work together to improve school climate for all students, regardless of sexual orientation, gender, or identity expression. Yeah, the school said that those responsible the event promoted. The event was promoted to the public as a drag show. The website also reported that no permission slips were required for students to attend. Here we go. Republican State Senator Ryan Almond weighed in on the event, saying that he had been regular contact with the school over this investigation. I spoke twice today via phone with the Hempfield School District Superintendent I appreciate his willingness to update me and answer my questions. He is sponsoring a bill that seeks to alert parents to the presence of sexual explicit materials in schools. The event was first brought to the attention of school officials thanks to Facebook, yada, yada, yada. A post written by a woman said that her outrage was not about a vendetta against the LGBTQ community, but rather against students wearing form-fitting clothes that expose the buttocks on school campus. Child, bye. Have you seen how these kids dress?
Hello, a cheerleader uniform, a majorette
Right.
uniform,
A cheerleader uniform, a dance team uniform.
swim
Boy,
swim
child,
uniform for the swim team.
y'all funny to me. Y'all are so funny to me how y'all pick and choose what y'all get mad about. First
Since
of all,
going back decades, how many Halloween costumes have you seen where boys came dressed as girls?
but here's my issue. And you again, let's just lean into our hey Tracy, hey the artist. Let's just lean into our own understanding of what we've done as educators. You know, like I know, you're using the school facility. That was a whole auditorium. That wasn't in somebody's classroom. That was a whole auditorium that they were using. There were tickets because the article said that nobody had to sign a permission slip to attend the event. So this was not something that was done in the dark. If you're going to investigate it all, because you could say in the article that it was unsanctioned, but you nobody, like, it went on. Like, I know there were flyers. In order for people to show up, people had to know about it. There had to be flyers. There had to be something up. So now all of a sudden that there's blowback. Now all of a sudden everybody want to stand back and throw their hands in the air. Why would you need a permission slip to go to? I mean, again, if this were not men in outfits performing drag, if this were a scene, if this were the
No. Hold on, baby. Hold on. If this were not gay men doing this, because had this been the football team doing this, because you see that all the time. What a football team, we used to do it at my high school all of the time, where during homecoming they had the homecoming play or whatever, where the cheerleaders would dress like the football players would dress in the cheerleading outfits, and it was all hanging out.
And it's valid. That's valid. Or if this had been the theater club putting on Les Miserables or what's not Les Miserables, that's not what I wanted to say. Chicago or La Cage Falls or if this had been a production from the drama club, not, and I know this is gonna be stereotypical, so don't shoot me, but it's probably the same people that's in the drama club that's in this LGBTQ club, but it's under the guise of, oh, this is drag, so there's a problem. Y'all need to stop. Y'all play too many games.
And then for them to be acting like people were assaulted sexually and talking about, oh, this is explicit. I saw the video. But
The video was
there was
not the
nothing.
video too. The video was not. It was child. It was
There was
not.
nothing explicit in this video.
There was not. It was not.
I was like,
They
because I
were
was
dancing
waiting.
and performing. That is it. That is all. They were dancing and performing. And the same lady that left that comment is probably the same lady whose child shows up with a tank top on, a halter top with her stomach hanging out, probably got her belly button pierced and some Daisy Dukes. Okay, your child is a child that we have to call for you to come and bring her some clothes. That is you. Go sit down somewhere.
Please sit down.
But we know that Pennsylvania, especially in the more rural areas, they said it was about 80 miles west of Philadelphia. So we know where that's going. That's Trump country. Remember Pennsylvania. That was one of the states that we were on pins and needles about. Like you have a very rural Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh, but the rest of the state is very red, very very red.
It's ridiculous. We as teachers, and we're focusing on Teacher Appreciation Week. So as teachers, oftentimes one of my things from the beginning of me teaching was always I never is always to teach inclusion, which leads to tolerance, which leads to understanding, which then, leads to where we can all kumbaya and everything. And so, as a teacher, I've always had this stance well, I didn't from year one because I started like in October of my first year teaching, so I couldn't start at the beginning of the school year. But for my second year, when I did start on day one of my first things during that first day when you're going through who I am, here's my syllabus, my lessons, and what I stand for and stuff. I'll put it right on out there. Listen, I don't come out and say, hey, I'm, a part of the Rainbow Coalition, but I come right out and say, hey, let me help you understand something. You're going to call me everything but a child of God. Here's the list of things that you're going to call me. I know that you're going to do that. You can get all of the oohs and ahs out of there now. Now that we've gone through this list, if you call me one of these things, then it's going to be on you. Because I told you I already had this. You need to come up with something creative. They laugh it off. I laugh it off. We laugh it off. And my point in saying that is I've had so many students afterwards tell me, say, you know what, Doc, I have never felt like I was okay just being around anybody, just whoever, until I came to your class when I realized, oh, that's just Dr. L. You know what I'm saying? And they fight to get in my class and things like that. So I think that the more, and so I always would tell them that the world and you all, as you all grow to, interact with each other and love each other and tolerate each other and be around each other and learn each other, should shift and get to a better place where we have more, people that are understanding and warming up to each other. But we have this dystopian era right now where we are living in just everything just going backwards. Like with certainly with regard to race relations, but absolutely with the Rainbow Coalition. And it's so funny because all of the strides that have been made over the last 20 years or so, and all of the steps forward that have been made, and all of the, inclusiveness and all of the fighting that had been, we started to see real tangible results are now just pretty much being blotted out and obviated from the books in certain places. And it's very disheartening as an educator because everything that we do in educating students in terms of teaching them how to live in society and be inclusive and and deal with the diversity within our society, they are people outside of the classroom are doing everything to throw away and make classrooms back to what they were, 200 years ago. And I don't know how it gets better.
I wouldn't even say that. I say 50 years ago.
I don't know that it gets any better. I don't know that it gets any better.
Well, thank you, Fresh Press Juice. Fresh Press said, thank you, really being L Teddy, for all you do. And thank you, Cams, who said,
thank
hello,
you all
favorite
so much.
educators. Thank you for the efforts in and out of the classroom. You're welcome, and thank you for acknowledging.
Thank you so much.
Cams and Fresh Press, y'all are one of our support as well. Everybody that's in the chat, we have our regulars. Y'all come through. Y'all support us. And we appreciate it.
Speaking of which, I had a student hit me up today on my Facebook. And he says he was one of this he wanted to get drafted, right? So he's eligible for and he went to, he had the pro day at his school or whatever and so forth. So of course he didn't get drafted. So this weekend, earlier today, I went in my invite. He hit me up, Dr. L, I need to talk to you. I said, yeah. He said, can I just call you? Because I just need to talk to you. Because you know what I felt like this weekend? I felt like when I used to sit in your class, I felt so horrible. He said, I felt like when I used to sit in your class and I knew I had to put all my effort and energy into one of your assignments. And you would come And I'd be so happy, think I done gave you the best thing in the world. You get this A, and you'll look at me and you'll be like, it's not bad. So
Terrible.
I called him and he said, just tell me all your little sayings and I'm gonna feel better because even when you made me mad when I did bad stuff, I would feel better because you would always say something to make me laugh. So I just need you to say, and so I just rambled off a bunch of stuff I just said. But I said, okay, I feel better now. And he said, I already got a call that I'm gonna be on the practice squad for I think he said I think the Ravens practice squad or something like that. I
Oh,
think it's the
okay.
Ravens.
He's gonna be
But
in my.
anyway, it was so funny. It was so funny. He was like, I just need you to tell me all the little sayings because I feel like I'm back when I was in your class and I won't feel as bad. I really don't feel like I was that big. I probably was that big. But that is the best thing I said.
I didn't, but I'll do it when I get off of here. I'll go look at it when I get off of here. I didn't. You know, my memory's bad. I'm gonna write it down so I remember.
What?
To go check my Amazon, update my Amazon wish list.
Um, the
Well,
that is the best thing that's the best compliment I could tell you is in the class. It's like it's not bad. Cause I'm almost never gonna say, "Oh, that was good. That was great. You're so." No, that's just not me. I'm just not a nurturer. I'm just not nurturing.
that's a nice way of saying you're mean.
I will accept that. I will accept that. Hey, Janae,
Hi, Jeanette. Thank you.
I remember. Oh, another quick story. I remember the first time I started to have to keep deodorant in the class. So,
Ooh,
or when I taught middle school, dear God, it was just ridiculous. Thank God my middle school that I taught at had a full, because some middle schools don't have a full gym with a shower and everything. But the one that I worked at had a full gym with a shower. And I would write this good pass for this young man. I used to keep soap and the spray deodorant, not the roll on, the spray deodorant, and not Axe either. Um, it was Arid Extra Dry. Don't judge me, okay? It wasn't going on my body. I used Old Spice, but anyway, so I would write a note
did
to
you
the
say you use Old Spice?
huh
You use Old Spice?
deodorant. Yes, that's the only deodorant I use is Old Spice
The
deodorant.
opposite word in that sentence is old.
I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this with you. I am not doing this with you. Hey, Socrates.
Hey, y'all. Hey, bro.
Anyway, you know, don't she go out of her way to be mean to people? Kind of like Marlo, just for no reason. You just gonna be negative for no reason. Negative Nancy.
I was just making an observation.
Anyway, as I continue to drink on my BioLite, um,
BioLite.
mhm. I ain't been drinking. That's not why I'm drinking. I just wanted it because I haven't eaten. I feel real dehydrated. So got my BioLite. But in a pinch, if you've been drinking, this is the go-to. The goat.
I don't
The goat.
drink.
So that's what we doing today, right? So that's what we doing today, right? Yeah. Yeah. If I, I'm not doing this with you. No, ma'am. No, God.
I'll tell you
Mm-mm.
today with the snacks because I cannot. This ain't nothing left in here but crumbs, but this Chex Mix is so good today.
Child. Child. Don't get me started on her Socrates. That whore ain't. Let me
Y'all don't do that. Don't entertain. And listen, you can't be on calling me names like that over here.
just. We on the wrong channel.
Right.
Keep
Good
it teacher
behavior.
project 2.0. Anyway, oh, but what I will say as educators, we we get some of the worst stuff during Teacher Appreciation Week. I will say that we have gotten stuff. I'm gonna tell you the worst gift that I get a lot of times. I've gotten it more often than I could think. A pack of pens or something like
Who gave
that,
you a pack of pens?
or a pack of Expo markers. Girl, if you don't get away, if you if now one year when I worked at a really nice school, baby, I went home with at least with almost like $800 in gift certificates. I was like, okay, I'm here for this. They were just giving me gift certificates. They knew I like coffee. So I got a whole lot of Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts gift certificates. A couple, ones to, little the ones that they give you when you can have a
Thank you,
variety of
approved by
restaurants. Okay.
Well, this is what I'm gonna say.
Moon pies and expo markets today. Oh, drop the link if anybody wants to come up really before any teachers in the
Oh yeah, if y'all want to come up, we said we would drop the link so y'all can come up if y'all want to come up. Are they good pens though? Well, yeah, because there is a difference. There is a
there is a
difference.
very real difference in pens. As a writing teacher, I can tell you there is a difference. All pens are not created equal.
But let me say this. Today, one of my students, so I was having a study session today. So the AP exam for my kids is Friday. So we were
Mhm.
having a study session with my ninth graders today. But I also had my IB kids because that's a small class and they were in there. So I had like my AP kids on one side, my 11th graders on another side. And, I was double dipping. I was 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. I was doing my thing. So I said something to my kids. I said, y'all know this is Teacher Appreciation Week. What y'all gonna do for a sister? Now I pulled out candy for my kids because that's what I do sometimes. Do you know that one of the Negroes gave me a piece of the candy that they got out of my candy dish?
They trifling like that. That makes sense.
I was
They
like,
be real trifling like
is
that.
this the
You like
candy that I gave you?
be real trifling like that. You know who else is
You got moon
disrespectful a
pies.
lot?
Wait a minute, hold on. With the moon pies, I mean, is that a theme for the week? I mean, are y'all mascots? Like, are y'all the Comets or something? Like, who just who just randomly
Moon
gives
pie
y'all moon pie? Like, is that
and
who
expo markets like that was gonna
who
make
tell
your
me there's a
child.
theme for that?
Ain't no goddamn thought. That's what
Now there's
administrators
no
say.
thought involved in you giving me what I just
I
gave you
hate
as a gift.
administrators
There's no thought in
rarely give good gifts.
it.
Rarely. It's rare to find an administration that really knows how to celebrate their teachers during Teacher Appreciation Week. They usually give you some garbage and will throw up one or two posters around the building, and that's about it. They might give you coffee one day and might do a little raggedy lunch, which is always something you don't want to eat. Something that they done got, like maybe some
Thank
dry
you.
ass spaghetti or something.
Let me tell you something. I got spoiled. My first principal at my first school, I was spoiled because when I say she absolutely made Teacher Appreciation Week everything that it's supposed to be.
Now my second principal was like that. That was my second principal. She
Oh,
rolled it
moon
out.
pies because they're over the moon.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. They come up with these stupid little things and think that it'd be cute, and you be like, "Girl, I don't want that shit." Like,
They saw
what
that shit
is
on
it?
Pinterest and said, "Oh, that's good."
No,
No, it's not.
no.
What they give us one year, it was a bag full of Hershey Kisses, and it was something like that along the lines of something kisses for you or some shit. I was like,
Oh, one year they gave us, the little Smarties candy. They had this little construction paper, had wrote Happy Teacher Appreciation and like crayon, and then stapled to it one of the little Smarties and said, because it was just stupid. It was just so, and that's all we got for the whole week. I
I
was
saw the
like,
TikTok, Abby. A New Jones said they got expo markers and root beer floats.
it's always the expo markers, always.
What is up with the expo? So let me say, okay, so the first school that I worked at, I was at that school for 10 years, and my first and second principal, because my second principal was the protege or the mentee of the first principal. So she, she mimicked her mentor. So our teacher appreciation week used to be everything. And I also am going to say that part of it too was you used to have parents that gave a damn, and that made a difference too. So like the first teacher appreciation week I can remember, this was either my first or second. I think it was my first year. But first of all, every day there was something in our mailbox. And even if, see, you don't mind the little stuff when that's not the whole gift. So like every day there was little odds and ends. I remember one day it was a paperweight. I mean, okay, that's cute, but she bought enough for everybody to have a paperweight. One day it might have been like a candy bar. One day, no, that was the Christmas gift. I was very loud. That was the Christmas gift one year. One year they bought everybody those big ass tins of popcorn. That was everybody's Christmas gift. But so I don't remember the sequence of events. I'm just gonna tell you the different things we did that week. So the first day, let's just say the first day was the omelet man. Came in, did the omelets, breakfast. Principal covered first period class, so we didn't have to wolf our breakfast down and hurry up and get to class. She covered first period, everybody in the auditorium, or she just because I was at the middle school then. We was going to, we either everybody went outside for first period or whatever. And that was before block scheduling. So first period was like 45 minutes. That was before everybody went to block scheduling. So at my school, our periods were 45 minutes long. So we talking about 45 minutes, right? But she covered the whole school, her and the administrative team. So we didn't have to wolf our food down. I think that's part that they don't remember, because this morning they had breakfast for us, but we still had to be in our classroom by 8:30. And it was like, what if you got, like, if you were in line, you had to get out of line because you had to get to class. Then anyway, whatever. So that was like one day. The second day, of course, they had lunch for us. But again, it wasn't like box lunches, come pick it up and go eat it. It was an actual like barbecue, like, buffet. And again, she extended lunch so the teachers didn't have to worry about hurrying up and eating. Everybody got a chance to sit down and we could fellowship. We could talk to each other, because we used to always meet at this school where I was. Whenever we had faculty meetings and stuff, we always met in the library. So they had the library decorated, the table set up, they put tablecloths down, and it was nice, right? Wednesday, I don't remember what she did for the third day. Let's just say it was something like, I want to say she did like maybe an ice cream social, right? Thursday, she had a guy come in and do massages. 15-minute massages. You had to sign up. So you did have to sign up during your planning period, but 15-minute massage. Like, thank you. And then on the last day, she paid for everybody to go on the Spirit of Washington. Now, for people who don't know what the Spirit of Washington is, most cities that have water have some sort of spirit of situation. But you get on the boat and you ride around, DC for an hour, and they have food and music and a DJ. And guess what she did? She took care of the classes. Like, we left at lunch and we didn't have to come back the rest of the day. And that was on Friday. So it was like lunch, like let's say the boat left at 1. We were on the boat till like 1 to 2, maybe 2:30. And then after we got back, it was like, all right, bye. Have a great weekend. Now, I know that everybody can't do that. I get that. But somewhere in the middle, somewhere between a box of pens and what I got my first year teaching, somewhere in the middle. Can we meet somewhere in the middle?
My best teacher appreciation was similar, but okay, so the first day, everybody knew, because Tuesday is official teacher appreciation day. But everybody knew my class as the English teacher. I would always have a big teacher appreciation week project that every student had to participate. They were in groups. So as one of the classes was in charge of a play that they would write and they would script. So on that Tuesday of teacher appreciation, they would have to put on the play for the whole faculty. So that was always day 2 there. And we would and what would happen is the students and the teachers would have lunch. And like you say, the principal would put it on, would hold lunch so that, teachers had lunch longer and could take as long as they wanted. But when the teachers left lunch, they would go and there would be reserved seating for all of the faculty, and the students would have to stay in the um the gym with the security guards and support staff while they were watching them while we watched the play or whatever. So, but that was always real cute. So Monday, they, like you said, they'll give you some of your mailbox, a little goodie bag or whatever. Wednesday, the whole second half of the day, once again, my principal said students belong to us, teachers, y'all come. And they did, I think every principal does the massage thing because that's a big thing. We had this the virgin daiquiris that they were making for us. You
Oh, that's
know, this day
cute.
was dessert. So we had a lot of desserts and stuff that day. I don't remember what happened on Thursday, but Friday, she told the whole faculty, listen, when school gets out, because she knows that district rule says you have principal can have up to two faculty meetings a month, an hour long. So you can either have one 2 hour long faculty, 1 hour long faculty meeting twice, well, two 1 hour long faculty meetings or one 2 hour long faculty meetings. But that's what it was. So she said faculty meeting is going to be off campus. It's for professional development. I found out how she did it. So we're in Miami. Why we roll up, and so when we got that dress, I said that's like close to Star Island. We went to Dwayne Wade had partnered with a friend of hers who's one of his assistants. He had his whole backyard deck, had his people deck out the backyard and everything. He wasn't there, they were on the road, but and this is before him and Gabby was married, and they had everything. They had musicians and a DJ and food. It was just a big party. And she said, listen, if you want to leave after your 2 hours, the faculty meeting is over. The rest of us, we will be here. She made sure that they did not pour a drop of liquor until after the 2 hours of the faculty meeting. So at that point, she said, well, faculty meeting is officially over. And once the faculty meeting was over, they just brought out liquors and everything. And it was, I mean, that was probably my best one. We had such a good time. We partied, we stayed there till like late at night. And it was a good time. It was a good time. Like they had arranged for everything, all the assistants. Matter of fact, one of the school board members came afterwards and came and partied with us. But we had a good, that was my best, but that was that second principal. She knew exactly what to do. Her motto was, whatever I got to do to make my teachers happy, the students will be happy.
And that's the thing. Like I said, that was my first principal. So that made me, my first and second principal spoiled us like that. And now I look back on it and I'm like, did they really spoil us or did they really show us that they appreciated us? You know what I mean? Because now I look at what it is now. And I remember again, when I first started teaching, my first Christmas, I was not expecting this because of course I ain't know no better. And I taught at a Title I school in the hood in DC. Now we did have like a tag program within our school, but I didn't teach them. I was a first year teacher. I didn't get them kids. I left the day before Christmas break. I had a bag full of gifts, wrapped nice, neat, and I wasn't expecting that because I was like, oh my goodness, like, wow, that's what we doing. And I waited till Christmas Day, put them under my tree because I really appreciated it. And child, now I don't get shit. When I say I don't get shit, I don't get shit. I'm not saying that anybody has to give me anything. Let's be clear. I'm not saying they have to, but I'm just talking about where we've gotten to. That's all.
I think it's a generational thing too, because you see as generations progress and the parents of those students become younger. And let's be clear. And if you say something really big, I'm gonna click you off. Oh, I can't click you off.
You can't click me off, boo.
But I have some students. I have some former students who have kids that are now, in their teens now. Now, mind you, these were some of the ones that was fast and had kids, coming out of middle school, going into high school and stuff like that. But I do have some students.
No, you're just that old. But go ahead.
whatever. Anyway, and so I wonder what those kids are gonna be like that, God raised by kids that I taught. Because some of those monsters, I'm thinking in my head, oh dear God, you are breeding and adding to the gene pool, and I am just very worried about
Let me ask you this:
what
Have you ever
springing
run? Have
forth.
you ever run into any of your former students, or heard like got updates from former students that you just knew were going to be hell on wheels, and they are really doing the damn thing? Like they
Yes,
mature,
absolutely. It was this little boy.
they hit some sort of maturity, and they are really,
Listen,
really doing the damn thing.
it
Yeah.
was this little boy named I'm just gonna call his first name Curtis. Curtis was a little something. Curtis was about even today he's like 5'2", 5'3". He was a hellion. When I tell you that young man was nothing to play around with. I thought Curtis. I was like, now he was. I never told him, but it was one in my head that I was like, that young man got about 8 restaurants that he owns right now, and he's 28.
Mm.
Started off with his own little food truck, morphed that into like 8 or 9 food trucks. Then finally had his brick and mortar. And once he got that first brick and mortar, boom, 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 boom. I had another student that cussed me out at least twice a month. Just cussed me out. Probably gave me some of the best cusses I ever got in my life was from students, never from adults. Cussed me slap out. That young man is so wealthy right now. He owns a huge landscaping company. He actually went to jail, got out of jail, and said, "Listen, I got to do something with my life. I'm gonna, just start." Had one lawn mower, and now has morphed that into a very lucrative company where he has. I think he's up to like 50 or 60 people that work for him. Has a brick and mortar, send people out all of the time to to do landscaping and stuff like that. But there's so many success stories that we get, and once you teach for a certain amount of years, I pale in comparison to the number that you probably have really be because
Certain
you've been
amount of
around
years.
since
Mm-hmm.
God was a child. And
Mm-hmm.
wait, what did you highlight? Let me read that.
I was going to ask you that next. The funniest thing a student has done or said in your year.
This is easy. This is so easy. I remember this vividly. I mean, there's been a whole bunch of funny ones, but this is so easy. So this is before I had my PhD. This was actually the year I was defending my dissertation. So I had a student, and he had an IEP. He didn't hit, but his IEP was for emotional. Um, he was EBD. He had the intelligence. You know what I'm saying? You was around him, you would know. I often wrote on his IEP. I didn't feel like he needed an IEP. You know how they try and get the IEP so they can get that check. That's what it was about. Anyway, um, so I'm not gonna call his name because if I call his name, you'll immediately know because it's not a regular name. So I had given a test. It was a big test. It was a big test. He felt, and everybody had this. I literally would watch students studying for this test. Very surprised. This is when I was still teaching middle school. So I went and graded the test, gave the test back. I think he got like a 50 something. Like he failed. He got an F. You know, and I'm the type I write it. I write. I'm old school. I write the score real big. So I'm passing the test out and giving everybody their stuff back. So he was toward the front, and I always go front to all the way to the back where my desk is always in the back of the class, so I can see everybody from the back. So then, next thing I know, he say, "Mr. L, fuck me sideways." The whole class turned to look like what? Like what? Like I didn't even know how to react. I was like, we all look like. He said, I studied so hard for this. Here you go. He'll give me this. And I got one more. The second funniest one, because I had to steal this one. The second funniest one, so it's these two guys. They on the football team. I was at high school there. They on the football team. So come to find out, one of the guys was dating this girl, and the other guy found out that the girl was trying to get with him, but they were on this team because they was each other's friends. So they do a work, and they were at that the assignment. I let them talk. They could talk if they want to. So I'm listening. They working now. They are doing their assignment. They got group work, so I wasn't worried about that. So I'm over here because I'm great at papers. He's like, yeah, XYZ. Yeah, she tried to holler at me yesterday, and I know that's your girl. And I said I was gonna tell you, so you ain't think it was on me and dot dot dot, because you my boy, you my homie, dot dot dot. And so he turns to his friend and says, bruh, I ain't got no problem if you dip your spoon in my sugar bowl. Go ahead and do what you want to do. I don't care about her like that. So if you want to dip your spoon in my sugar bowl, go
Not
ahead.
even a
And
spoon
in
in
my
my
mind,
sugar.
the places my mind went was this one young man told this other young man, I don't mind if you dip your spoon in my sugar
In my
bowl.
sugar bowl.
I ain't even saying that. I'm over there dying laughing, dying. And then they had the nerve to say, Donnell, what you over there laughing for? Don't even worry about it. I just don't even worry about it. I'm over here creating paper. And I, you know, integrated that into the vernacular. Dipping the spoons. That's the story behind dipping someone's spoon into someone's sugar bowl.
Wow. 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 For me, I've told both of these stories before, but they're still the funniest stuff that ever happened to me. So one story I told you, I think I told y'all this. Well, I know I told this story before. I don't think I told it on this channel. I think I told it on my channel. I had a student. So where I used to work was near Chinatown in DC. So we used to have a really large Asian population at my school. And one year we took a trip to the Blacks and Wax Museum, which is it was a black owned black museum in Baltimore where they, told the history of us. And they had wax figures like, Madame Tussauds, but it told the history of us. So they had a room which was probably the most it's the room that everybody talked about. It was in the basement of the room because it was like an old house that they converted, So it was in the basement of the house, and it was called the lynching room. And it talked about just how the brutality of lynching. And they told the story of a woman who, I don't want to be too brutal, but basically she was pregnant and she was lynched, and they took the babies out of her, and then they put something in the belly and sewed her back up. It was something real grotesque, And we had a student, I don't want to say it. Well, I got his name is, well, anyway, we had an Asian student who, a lot of times the Asian kids wouldn't go on field trips because, and their parents were like, a field trip, that's not what you do at school. You go to school, you stay in school, you don't go on field trips. It's not fun. So we used to have to like pull their teeth to go on field trips. So we had this one student. Now this student he had been very Americanized, right? He was I'm just gonna go, he was a thug. But he was a thug, right? Yeah, very cultural, Stiggs girl. So I remember him standing next to me. We were in the lynching room, right? I didn't say nothing. I'd been there, I'd seen it before, and and he says to me, we're sitting there, and I see him going through, and he's reading everything. He turns and he looks at me, and he said, yo, this shit's fucked up. I couldn't say nothing. Listen, that's when I was in middle school. So this is a ninth grader. Well, it was a junior high. So he was a ninth grader. And it was totally inappropriate for the language. But in my mind, I was like, well, he gets it. It's like, he gets it. What am I supposed to say? And all I looked at him and I looked at him and I went, yep. That's it. I mean, what else do I have for you? But it was just funny because, like I said, he was just a thug. And so after that, we bonded because I didn't teach him because he was on the trip. Another teacher that was on the trip with us taught him. Right. I couldn't do nothing but agree. I was just glad that he got it. You know what I'm saying? So, now the second story, again, I know I've told this story before too. Again, another one of my Asian students. He was a comedian, funny as hell. I used to come home every day with stories about him. Right, every day I would come home and tell. That's when I was still living with my parents, and every day I had a story. By the end of the year, my parents felt like they knew him. Like every day I had a story about this little boy. So this is how long ago this was, and this is going to age me, and I know El Teddy is going to love this because I'm going to age myself. But he used to burn CDs, right? He had Napster and all that other stuff, and he would burn CDs. So one day they're in the hallway, and all these kids are crowded around him. And I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "What is going on here?" And of course, all the kids start, and he's out there selling CDs. He got a whole order list. He done took orders. He done went home that night. He done burned CDs. Like he had a whole business going. I said, "You can't do this at school. This is illegal. You're pirating music. You can't sit here in the middle of the hallway. First of all, you holding up class. Like this, you're holding up progress. Like I would never know you were doing this if you had a better way of handling your business. Second of all, this is illegal. You are stealing music. You can't be sitting here selling it." He's like, all right, Miss P. All right, Miss P. All right, Miss P. So a couple of weeks later, the kids snitched on him. Not in a bad way, because again, we was cool. And they were like, "You know he's still selling his CDs, right?" And he looking at me, he was like, "See?" Oh, really? What is that?
I'm sorry, I got two things going on at once.
Oh. So he because he offered to give me, listen, he offered to cut me in and everything. He was like, "If you don't say nothing, I'll give you 10%." Like he was negotiating. So I looked at him and I was like, "You still selling CDs? Didn't I tell you you can't do that?" He said, "You said I can't do it at school. I'm doing it at the subway." Again, that's what I said. Really wasn't a whole lot more I could say after that. Oh Lord. Anyway, but those were that was my class clown. I mean, he was a comedian. Like I really expected to see him on somebody's stage because he was definitely a class clown. Like he was so, but his family owned a restaurant in Chinatown. He's probably running 5 restaurants by now. He used to bring me lunch all the time. Oh my gosh, he used to bring me lunch all the time because he liked me. He used to bring me lunch all the time. Right, he was the best kind of correct technically. Yes, exactly, he was. And that's exactly what I said. I said, "You can't do this at school." And he wasn't. He was doing it at the subway.
He wasn't wrong.
He wasn't wrong.
He
Now,
was
I think,
not
you know
wrong.
what? I take that back. Nobody snitched on him. I think he offered to make me a CD. He was like, "Who you want? Don't you want a CD? Don't you?" I think he offered to make me one. And I was like, "Didn't I tell you to stop selling?" And the kids were like, "He's still selling them." That's what happened. But it was hilarious. It was hilarious. But yeah, that was the good old days of Napster, honey. What was the other one? It was Napster. And what was the other one where people used to get the music?
Was it? No, it was Napster.
Did another one? Maybe it wasn't. I know Napster, but it was another place.
Napster was the original, but I don't remember what the other ones were.
Okay, maybe I'm not. Maybe it wasn't another one. Child. So okay.
What's the funniest thing a student has done or said in your years?
LimeWire. That was it. Thank you, Vovo.
LimeWire. Oh, we just said what the funniest thing was.
No, here's another one we had. Chris says, "What was the most creative or bizarre way a student has tried to cheat in your class, or are students better now than in my generation?" So,
well, I learned early on because I knew that they would try anything in their power to get over on me. So what I would do is I would have tests A, B, C, and D. You wouldn't even know. And so how you would know is the first 4 questions were always identical. So if you were trying to cheat, you would get fooled because everybody had the same first four questions. Once you got to question number five, that would tell me whether or not you had test A, test B, test C, or test D. And what that meant was no matter where you looked, in front, in the back, or on either side of you, there was going to be a different test. So I had a student that had cheated and he thought I had wronged him. And he tells me, didn't know I had done did that, right? Because he ain't looked that hard. So he cheating off somebody who got a 90 something. He got a 42. He said, now wait a minute. He said, you know what? I'm just gonna have to take this one. I'm gonna have to get in trouble. But y'all, he got real. Like he said, y'all see, he be trying to cheat us on stuff. He got real. Like he said, nah. He raised his hand. He said, no, I got something to say. So I said, go ahead, speak your mind. I feel like you just be trying to fail us. You be doing anything you can to try to fail us. And I said, I grade what you give me. Well, how she get a 92 and I know I'm gonna get an F for this, but I'm gonna just come right out and say it. I know I copied everything she had. I might have missed one question, but he said I should at least be in the 80s, if not a 92 like her. And how she get a 92 and he had like a 40 something. So before I could even answer, one of the students was like, that's why you got a 40 something, because you just stupid. He was like, I ain't stupid, but I know how to copy. He was like, and so I was like, you do understand that there were four versions of the test. No, it wasn't, because I looked and she had the same questions I had. Yes, everyone has the same first four questions. But at question number five, they deviate. There are four different versions of the test, just for brilliant and smart students like you who seem to think that they're going to get one over on me. And now, not only did I get one over on you and you got the 46, but I have too gotten you openly in classroom to admit to cheating. What are you going to do now? Listen, when I tell you, he never spoke again in class again. I would call on him and he would be like, no. I mean, I had a couple more, it was like a 15-minute long soliloquy. I have whole diatribes, sometimes a monologue that I just go into
No.
and I just, you may get berated and undressed so professionally. But yeah, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. And everybody was like, yeah, you earned that one. You earned that one. What are you gonna do? You were just stupid.
Yeah, I honestly, I mean, I feel like I had the same thing because I used to do the same thing. I would mix up my test as well. I didn't do the first five, but it still didn't matter. They didn't pay that much damn attention. Because remember, I started off in middle school. They didn't pay that much attention. They were just like, oh, multiple choice. And here's what was obvious about the people who would cheat. First of all, like I said, I would mix up the multiple choice, but I always do open-ended questions. I don't do just multiple choice. I always do open-ended questions or short answer questions. The people that were so obvious were the people that only answered the multiple choice questions. Like you're not even gonna try to you're not even gonna try to read and answer an open-ended question. So it is very obvious that all you did was either guess or copy. But I had a very similar situation with somebody, but they came to me after class and they tried to do it slick. They tried not to call nobody out. Miss Proctor, I had a question about my test. Okay. Well, I'm just wondering, I mean, I looked at so and so's test, and I noticed we had all the same answers, but they got a different answer. No, you ain't look at so and so's test and notice, because if you had looked at so and so's test and noticed, you would notice I didn't have the same questions. The same so and so that sits next to you, that's so and so. Okay, you do realize that y'all don't have the same questions, so you must not have checked that hard. And their face gave it away. The other one that used to crack me up were the people, and I mean, they still do it, let's be clear. But the cut and paste, when they thought they had really invented something with the cut and pasting, and then they didn't understand why they got a 0 on the assignment, I was like, all you did was cut and paste this from. I said, first of all, you used Wikipedia. Let's start there. Let's talk about how wrong that is. Second of all, you're cutting and pasting from Wikipedia. You think I said, you do know that's the first website that pops up whenever you type in anything. So I didn't even have to look hard. I said, but I've been teaching you for a whole year. You think I don't know how you write? You think I don't know the difference between what you turn in every day and this? How you know I didn't write it? And like the ones that crack me up are the ones that will argue with you to make you prove to them. You know what I'm saying? So you want me to go to Wikipedia and show you that this is word for word when you know it's word for word from Wikipedia? Like, really? We got to do this? We got to do this? Or history.com. Really?
Oh, man.
You don't think I was... I think the one, you know, the ones that are funny to me, and this isn't cheating, this is just stupid. The ones that think you don't read it. And I know your students, well, they probably tried it once and knew not to try it again. But have you ever had students that just rewrite the question and think that you're not going to like read what they wrote?
Listen.
Name the 3 causes of World War II. The 3 causes of World War II were, and then that's it. They ain't write nothing else. You think I wasn't supposed to read that? I wasn't supposed to read.
This is how I get them. See how I get them to know I'm gonna read it every time. The very first essay, they have to sign up for office hours after class where we read it together, and I grade it right there. I tell them I'm not gonna grade it. I will literally. They have to come with their note with their own red pen. And as we read it, they dictate their own mistakes and notes as I'm reading it. And I tell them, right, nope, you need to change this. Nope, that's not good. Nope, this is my th-. So if they ever thought I wasn't going to read it, I said, now, I'm being light on you. Just be clear. Every other essay after this, I'm going to read it myself, and I'm going to be brutal. And they know from then on out, yeah, I might not want to play with him because that young man is not wrapped tightly. Like, he don't play fair. Not wrapped tightly. What are your thoughts on ungrading? What is ungrading?
What is ungrading? I don't know what that means.
Ungrading?
Oh, now I had a student slip me some Mary Jane. Oh, I'm in love with Mary Jane. She's my main thing. She makes me feel alright. She makes my heart sing. And when I'm feeling low. I'm sorry. At a moment.
Apparently. Oh, man.
Yeah, Janae, you have to tell us what ungrading is because I don't know.
I'm waiting to hear what ungrading.
I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with that. I'm not familiar with. Excuse me, that term, ungrading.
Ungrading. Does that mean you take the grade away?
Ungrade my heart. Say you love me again. Anyway, moving on. We're going to wait and see what the ungrading is. So El Teddy and I want to try to come to you guys and celebrate this whole week. I know we can't come tomorrow. Well, actually, El Teddy, I might be able to come tomorrow because I moved some stuff around. So we may be able to come to you tomorrow. But we want to try to come every day this week. One, to try to, promote the channel. We're still trying to get our subscribers up. But also because it is Teacher Appreciation Week. And we want to come to you. We still have more fun teacher stories to tell. Things like that. So be looking out, for that. As soon as we Janae tells us what ungrading is, we'll answer that question and then we're going to shut it down. But we're going to try to be back tomorrow, if not tomorrow, Wednesday. Don't forget ungrading with 100 and decreased points, maybe. I don't know. Thank you, Miss Baythang.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Like I said, I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar.
I'm not familiar with that term. You just stumped us on that one, Janae.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if she left.
I don't know.
Anyway, we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. Let me see. Sometimes StreamYard is delayed. We'll give it another minute and then we'll shut it down. We're also going to be dropping the link all week too. So if people want to come up and talk to us, I know we don't normally do that over here, but we'll drop the link this week as well. We want to make it a celebration for everybody. Um, yeah, I think
And
this
you all can also give us some of your favorite stories from your favorite teachers. Maybe we talk about some of our favorite teachers
yeah, maybe that's what
that,
we'll do
that
tomorrow or Wednesday.
inspired us. Because there are
Talk about
some
our
teachers
favorite teachers.
who I definitely borrowed things and best practices from that I was like, yeah, I get it now.
Really, I'm trying to think. No, I mean I had some teachers. I mean I did. I mean I definitely had favorite teachers, and I definitely had teachers that oh my gosh, could not stand. I went to Catholic school, so I had a couple of nun stories. But my problem was I had an older brother who he left bad taste in people's mouth. So I would come behind him and have child. That was the story of my elementary school life, child. Um, yeah, Janae might have left, y'all. She might have left because I don't see it popping up. But we'll find out. We'll try to find out what ungrading is because I'll give you my thoughts as soon as I know what it is. Okay, y'all. Well, thanks for coming through. Thanks for hanging out with us. Like I said, I think we'll be able to come on tomorrow because I moved some stuff around. But we'll definitely be back before the week is up. Try to get, like I said, we're gonna try to get here every day. But we'll definitely be back before the week is up. And if it's up, then it's up, then it's up, then it's stuck. What are you looking at?
Oh, I told you I'm multitasking. I got like five things going on. I got a Zoom call that's going on. I'm listening to you, and I'm looking at some over there on that
Oh,
TV.
wait a minute. Hold on. Janae came up. Okay, hold on. Janae said, I guess she said that's too much to type. I'm just gonna come on up here. All right, Janae, we're gonna bring you up. Hey, Janae. Can you hear us? Uh-oh. Janae? If you're there, your sound is off. Check you're not muted on our end, so check your sound. Hmm.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Yes.
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. Uh,
Hey,
so,
Janae, what's up?
so I just wanted to explain ungrading because I would type it, but I'm driving.
No
So,
problem.
yeah. So ungrading is kind of what El Teddy was just describing when he has his students come in and you guys mark down together what's wrong in the paper. But ungrading at the collegiate level is essentially doing away with grades. And so what that means is that students get a chance to revise certain assignments, and based on the revisions, they are then assigned a grade. So it's kind of like a remix of redoing an assignment, but it's designed so that um, the students are learning from their mistakes they made, essentially. And it's somewhat of a bigger movement in higher ed, but it
Hmm.
hasn't caught on like that. So it's being tried in some classes, and I'm considering it in the fall. So there's some caveats to it, right? Because you can't do that at every level due to
Right.
boards and things like that.
Um, I actually first came in contact with this maybe about 10 years ago. Well, not quite 10, maybe about eight, maybe 14, 15 school year. They unveiled that on secondary level, middle and high school level in my district, where if a child got an assignment, it could have been a test, it could have been an essay, whatever it was, the initial grade, they have 10 days to redo that. No matter what the grade is, they get 10 days to redo that assignment based on the corrections or the comments that you give them. And with that, they what but how they mitigated it was they could get the average of the two grades, and that's how that was. They wouldn't just erase the first grade. You could get the average of the two grade. And so what I would do in my classroom, because I give a lot more essays than I do regular, objective tests, I make the whole process a part of the grading process. So you'll start off with your rough draft has a grade, but it may not have as many grades as the final draft. You'll have to show me all of your notes and all of that. So I would make the whole process several grades in the essay writing, so that by the time we did get to the final grade, it was already as if, you've already had a chance to get go through that process of corrections and getting that done. So because I didn't like it at all at first, but I over the years I understood it and understood why it was needed in the process, but I just found my own way around it.
Um, I kind of do that. I guess I don't. I wasn't familiar with the term, but I literally just did that with my IB kids. They had to do their internal assessment, and they had to do it. It was the whole thing with the psychology paper, and that's pretty much what I just did with them. Um, I broke it down, and like El Teddy said, I broke it down into parts, and they got points based on each completed section, but not necessarily a grade. And then they had to turn in their rough draft before, like the week before spring break, and I gave them the edits, and then we sat down with the edits, and they could rewrite it, and then I gave them a grade because it also has to go off to IB, and IB grades it. So I wouldn't be opposed to doing that more often. My only concern for me is the time it takes. When you're in a class of 30 kids, that's a very time consuming thing to say you're going to do it. I could see doing it, and I definitely could see making the time to do it once or maybe twice. I don't know if I would have the time to do that as an ongoing, this is the way I'm going to assess in my class, because that's a lot. When you're
Yeah.
looking at 30 kids every time they turn in a written assignment or a major, something like that. But I'm definitely I'm okay with that. Like like I said, I kind of did it.
The thing about it was when they implemented it, it had to be something where it involved the parents, and the parents had to submit a formal request. And there was a form that was written out. They had to submit a formal request, and that request had to be sent into the counselor who would then, get the teacher involved. So there was a process for it. Now they did kind of make the process very arduous and cumbersome to make people not want to do it, to discourage, people from doing it every time. But I did have students that would do it. You have those overzealous parents that that's what they're going to do anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But yeah, so no, that's cool, Janae. Though, so you teach on a high school level, or you on a collegiate level? I thought you were on a collegiate level.
yes, I am. So I teach all the way from community college up to med school residents.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Okay, go on now.
Yeah. And so I have a follow-up question. So
Sure.
the modified form of ungrading that you both have used in your classrooms, has it proven effective when it comes to a final assessment, whether that be to IB, I was an IB kid too, or to AP? Has those methods proven effective in your respective classrooms?
I'm a,
Um,
Go ahead.
for me, it it could be. I teach English, which is a little different. What we do have, in the writing process, especially in my writing, it would often it lends itself to the writing process and writing much more. Now in reading and in the interpretation of literature and so forth, it was a little I could do it kind of that way too, but when I would introduce literature, we would go through dissecting literature, or if it were non-fiction and we were going through our rhetorical analysis or something like that, there were certain things that you had to look at. My first course of action to try to mitigate everything was, well, first of all, did you even pay attention in class? Did you take notes? Because this was an open notes. You know, assignment. Like all of my tests and assignments are all open notes. I never tell them that they can't use notes on any assessment that I give them for that reason, so that they can see the growth in their notes or the growth in the writing that they've done or in their interpretation of some type of written text or prose that they've done. So students are going to be students. It, the ones that do well will do well. The ones that don't won't. And I found that even the ones who try to go back, if they weren't a good student, the grade didn't do that much better. Even once they looked at all of the corrections and all of that stuff, they still found ways to mess that up.
That's actually what I was going to say. What I found and what I have found in the past when I've sort of kind of done this, the kids who are motivated and they want the changes and they're like, okay, cool. They're the ones that are going to do it. Like I literally had kids this year, and these are seniors. I literally had them, we go through all of that with them, and they literally didn't do anything. They just didn't. So
It's just motivation.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's something that they want to do, they will. Now, a lot of students, the ones who really were gung ho about their own education, they didn't wait for the parents. They would come themselves and say, "Hey, I need help. I can you help me? I want no, I want to make this better." Because you know, when you have those high level students, they get a B and they at your door right after school. Hey, I got a B, and I need to know what I need to do because I'm not used to getting B's, and I need to know where I went wrong and what I need to do to turn this B into an A. And those students, um, take control of their own educational process. And that's one thing that I instill, certainly on the high school level, where I tell students at this level, you have to be more concerned and have more of a vested interest in your own education than anyone in the world. That includes me, that includes your parents, and anyone else.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I haven't seen a major. I'm not gonna say it was no impact, but I haven't seen a major impact for me. But maybe on the collegiate level, I think we might have lost it. Maybe on the collegiate level, it may be different because the kids are, at least the idea is that they're a little more motivated because they're actually paying to be there. You know.
Yeah, I think it varies. So I was going to try it in like one or two classes and just to see, because like you both said, the time involved is a lot. And having to implement that and then train TAs and then explain to your department what that is, it just, I don't know. And so I like to get the insight from different educators at different levels to see how it can be best implemented in the higher ed sector. So,
but part of it is too, and all of us have seen this on the education horizon for years now. The more we go along, the more they do everything to appease and make situations much more easier for the students where they're doing more work. I mean, less work, and the teachers are doing more work. If you get what I'm saying, like it's everything is all of the onus is on the teachers, and less is on the students. Where we're being asked to jump through bells, whistles, and hoops, and they're being asked to just sit there and just receive whatever it is that we brought to the table. And so I think that it can be counterproductive because then what will happen is when it's their time to be on the other
I've
end.
seen that, especially at community college level.
They won't know what to I'm curious to see on your level how some of these students are performing, being that they have come from periods of education where everything is on teachers and almost none of it is on them.
Yeah. Because that's how I felt. I felt like I was doing all the daggone work, honestly. El Teddy, he used to hear me on the phone fussing. Like I felt like I was doing all the work. Yeah. But thank you so much for coming up. And thank you for always, for participating and supporting us. It is much appreciated. And thank you for all that you do, being in education and definitely on the collegiate level, because I know that's a whole different beast of political.
Happy Teacher Appreciation Week to you.
Exactly. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to shut it down. Oh, like I said, we'll be back later on this week. If not tomorrow, we'll be back on Wednesday, you guys. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to email us, or you can hit us up on Instagram. If you have any questions you want us to answer, those are some great questions from the chat today. And we're just kind of here all week. Maybe we'll do what we did today. We'll just do one article at the beginning and then just kind of open up the conversation.
We do want you fellow educators to come up with
Absolutely.
us, give us some of your stories and feedback, because we want to celebrate you all as well during Teacher Appreciation Week.
Absolutely. So definitely do that. And I thank you guys so much. And we're going to get out of here so El Teddy can go do the other 500 things he got going on right now. And I will talk to y'all later. Mwah. Peace. Oh, Lord.